Hi, it's Miss Robert again, and this is a lesson for Common Core Grade 6 for all students. One thing you have to know when you do the area of any figure is you learned that area is the width times the length. And that's what you learned. And you even learned it with little squares, and we counted the numbers, and we would say, okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wide. And we can say length, I don't know, let's estimate what you think there are. Let's say about 16. And we counted the number of squares. Now, when we do the area of a triangle, and that's what this lesson is about, the area of a triangle, you're going to have half that many little squares. So when we do the area of a triangle, we are using the regular length times width, but then because there are two triangles that make up a whole, we have to do half length times width. But there's another problem, because you know things are not always so easy. The other problem is when you do the area of a square or do the area of a rectangle, we use the words width and length. With the area of a triangle, we're going to use the words base and height. And notice the way I wrote height. Remember, we talked about this in school. Height. So we're not going to say that the area of a triangle is length times width. We're going to say that the area of a triangle is base, and B will stand for base, times height. And remember, if we're multiplying, we don't necessarily need a multiplication sign. We could do this if we'd like. And we're going to divide by 2. So let me ask you a question. If this rectangle, and I'll do it over here, the dimensions are 8 inches by 16 inches, what would be the area of this entire rectangle? So do the math right now. You can click this off for a second if you want. Figure it out. Okay, so you should have gotten 16 times 8 would be the length times the width, 128 square inches. Now, if I asked you what would be the dimensions of one of the triangles, you would have to then divide by 2. So if you want to click this off, you can. 128 divided by 2 is 64. 6 times 2 is 12. We did long division. Bring down the 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times. So it's 64. And then we're going to check ourselves, because you remember, I make mistakes. You see it all the time. You have to check yourself, especially on an exam. Please check yourself. And we say that is correct. Okay, 2 triangles are 64 inches in area. 2 of them, the total is 128 square inches. So you are not going to always have a rectangle to go by. Number 1, you can have a right triangle. Right triangle, if you remember, has a right angle. 90 degrees is a right angle. Very, very easy to see the height of this triangle. It's right there for you. And this is the base. So to figure out the area of a triangle, we're going to do area equals base times height divided by 2. So let's just give this a nice easy number. 5 and 2. We're going to say the area equals 5 for the height, 2 for the base. Let's say they're inches. And we have the area as 10 inches. Is that correct? Do we stop there? No, we don't stop there, because 10 would be the area of an entire rectangle. So we must divide by 2. So one of the triangles is 5 square inches and the other is 5 square inches, which makes up for 10 altogether. Okay, all of your triangles are not going to be right angles. So there's going to be a number of ways that we're going to do this. But let's say if you had a triangle like this. There will be an imaginary line down the center. What is that imaginary line? It is height. It is for height. Where that height must go is through the highest point, and it must be straight. This is not the height. That's just a segment of the triangle. This, for instance, would also be the height, and it may be given to you this way. And in order to find the dimensions of this triangle, you must be given, for now, that height. And let's say that height is 8 inches, and we're going to say the base is 3 inches. So the area of a triangle equals base times height divided by 2. And if you remember, this is the formula. Remember in school I said formula? That's Miss Roberts' accent. Formula. So we are going to do base, which is 3 inches, times the height, which is 8 inches, and we're going to divide that by 2. Then we're going to say 24 inches divided by 2. So 24 inches divided by 2 is 12. So the area of this triangle is 12. And how do you put that? 12 square inches. So that's how you figure out the area of a triangle. Just remember that a triangle is half a rectangle or a square, and that you're dealing with two different words now, height and base. When we have all different shapes, we're going to figure out the area of a trapezoid. We're going to figure out the area of a parallelogram. And when we do that, we are going to use the words height and base. We are not going to use the words length and width. So thank you, boys and girls. And I hope that you study. And that's my piano, where I give piano lessons at. I'll see you next time.